Hey everyone, so in this video we're going to be making some homemade lighters and experimenting with the different colors that you can get when you're experimenting with fire. So here we have these two lighters, and you can see this one's just using traditional lighter fluid, whereas this is a combination of methanol and boric acid. So this is made out of the smaller dram vial, and I drilled a hole in the top, and I have these two grommets, and kind of looks a little silly, but this was actually made a long time ago, and I've just been holding on to it. I didn't know if I could make one video just showing how to make something like this. I sort of beefed it up with this larger piece here, but I realized there was a fatal flaw. If this breaks, you're gonna have fuel everywhere, you might catch yourself on fire accidentally, and that's why I came up with our better version with the copper and brass and other hose barb fittings. So here's a close-up breakdown of how this is put together. You have various grommets and O-rings. This is a hose barb, and this is a dram vial. I'll leave links for all these parts in the description, so if you want to try and make these yourself, I think it's a pretty cool thing. Kind of reminds me of a trench lighter from World War II. Maybe not as nice, obviously, but it's about as close to the real thing as I want to get without really going in depth and learning how everything is made from scratch. I think this is just some easy materials to get your hands on, and it's a fun little thing to do at home. And you can see it's not perfect, but definitely would get you started if you're interested. And I'm just using the hose barb in combination with these O-rings to create a seal, and you just kind of twist that in there, and then you place this within the housing to protect the glass from shattering whenever you're using it. Now this flint wheel was not made by myself. You can salvage one from a really cheap lighter, or this one is from a Clipper lighter. That brand actually allows their lighters to be refillable, and also you can change the spark wheel at any time, which is pretty cool. One last thing is I added some O-rings here at the bottom, and that acts as a bumper to protect from this steel nut from smashing the glass if you were to shake it. That just adds a little bit of extra weight because this is a little bit top heavy. And then whenever you light this, you can set it down on the table and you have like a little candle. Now this concept is very common. You can see it all along the different types of lighters that are more World War II and European based. So this is the smallest you can have, and this is a really small and old lighter that I've had for quite some time. It's like a trench lighter, but you can see the concept is very nice and it works really well. I think it's very easy to use and kind of serves as a function in itself as its own little tool. So this was a researching week. I wanted to look into the different types of fire that you could create, and chemistry is a great way to be able to sort of dive into that. Obviously, we know that we can just use lighter fluid and we're going to get that red-orange sort of flame, but when you combine a couple different chemicals, you can get some really interesting effects. So today I have heat, which is a gas line antifreeze. It's actually mostly methanol. And then I have boric acid. So I've combined boric acid in the methanol solution, and you can get some really cool green fire. So how cool is that? Now in this project, I'll be trying to replicate the bouncing green fireballs that Luigi has. And I think he's a really underrated character. He can run on water, he fights ghosts, he's just awesome. So I wanted to try and replicate that concept. And so we have the chemistry to create green fire, but how do we get that bouncing effect? And how do we have this rapid fire process so that we can constantly throw these green fireballs? So I'm thinking that it needs to be a compressible object. it needs to be bouncing. So when you think of bouncing, you think of rubber or springs. So what I came up with is these springs here. These are the springs that you can find in like a shaker bottle. And they are very bouncy, and they serve the purpose of being able to hold this string so that you can soak it with the solution and then light it on fire. And I think that makes a lot of sense. I took this rope here and I gutted the internals, which is like a, some sort of plastic material. So once you remove that, you have this sleeve. And I used 37 inches or so to go around on this spring. And you just gotta kind of cut a little piece here so that it can more easily travel down. Now this is going to be a build that's going to take a lot of time, and I ultimately want to create a pyro glove so that I can spray the green fire and have an ignition system built into it. I do have this glove here just kind of as an example of something that I could use, and I think it looks pretty cool, very futuristic, and fits the lime green color scheme of Luigi. So I think it's pretty cool, and there's definitely a lot of improvements that can be made. This is just the beginning. So what I'll be doing is Snapchat updates. So if you want to add me on Snapchat, I am adding people who are a patron, and I'm going to be adding a lot more content other than just this build. It's going to include all of the behind the scenes stuff and eureka moments whenever I'm building something. And the more people that I have following me on Snapchat and through the Patreon, the better. If you look at it in the context of what a view is to YouTube, 1,000 views is $1, 5,000 views is $5. So think of, in the long run, how much you're helping my channel grow if you become a patron. Obviously not necessary if you can't afford it or if you don't want to, I understand. But I think that I have a lot to offer in the uniqueness of the way I think and the way that I can build things. And the more resources that I have, the more I can build crazy things, and I can even take your suggestions whenever you're communicating with me on that platform of Patreon. I think you'll be satisfied with the type of things that I'm offering if you want to check that out and see. I think this is a really cool concept, and I'll show you guys how that works. So here we have the green fire. Now this glove's probably gonna catch on fire. You can see how that just bounced. Here's another one. Now you can just, alright, now it started opening up. This is so stupid. My hand's on fire. So, I mean, the glove does do a decent amount of protection, but obviously I'm gonna have to do something a little bit better. And the point is, ignite it, then toss it. It's just meant to be like a grenade. You want to light that thing and throw it as quickly as possible. And maybe it's silly, maybe it doesn't have a purpose, but I still think it's fun. Oh! And now my hand's on fire. Oh! You understand why it's still on fire. You guys are probably like, wow, what a freaking idiot. Yeah, what's up? My hand is literally on fire. That one's going real nice. It's like so not mind-cracking. You have to like, but you can see it works pretty well. Like, the spring, got enough aeration from the rope. It does get a little hot. So you can see that this glove got pretty messed up. It actually caught on fire. at one point, you can see on my ring finger, and that's not cool. So we're gonna have to upgrade this, and I realized that was gonna happen, and I'm fine. I know you guys are probably like, oh, he's an idiot, you're probably not even worried if I'm hurt or not, but no, everything's good. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and leave any suggestions. This is just the beginning, and I'd like to have a fire glove where I could squeeze something and it would, boom, you'd have fire like that. It'd be really cool to see this progress, because I've pretty much been doing a lot of stuff with electricity, and that's because it's very easy to contain. I think this is a good start to the project, and I appreciate your feedback. So thank you so much for watching, and as always, take it easy.